My name is Phil Swift from Gear Canada, and we're looking at the Castille Economic Rapier today. As you can see, this sword has been through some abuse. Out of the 300 batch that Castille made, we bought 2 of these for our club as loaners. We've been using them for almost 2 months now, and pretty hardcore. We've been cutting with these as against other swords as much as we could and as hard as we can, safety-wise, of course. Well, safety being our concern, of course. And as you can see, there's very little, there's no burrs, no crazy dents. So it's been to quite some abuse. Okay? It's still hanging pretty strong. So these are $80 cheaper than the older style, which is, it comes with a basic blade. You can still get that. It's just these ones with the Eco blade is priced at $280. Yeah, $286 or something like that. It works out to be like $80 cheaper than the basic blade version. Now $80 to CAD, 80 USD to CAD is quite a lot. So we went for the economic version. Now, here's the thing. Between the two, okay, this one is much more nimble and it has a lot more flex. It's also on the lighter side. So the whole thing's about 810 grams or so. And the only disadvantages with this blade compared to the older basic is that because it's more flexible, it's a little bit more less strong in the bind. So it tends to flex a little bit on the bind. So you don't get strong binds with these, but you do have nimble tips. So because they're balanced really well. So you'll have very fast disengages. But binds not so well. Compared to the other blades, of course. The basic, the standard, and the elite, this has the least amount of bind presence compared to all of them. However, okay, that being said, it is truly a safe workhorse for a loaner sword or a starting sword. Because of how flexible it is very forgiving when you hit your friends a bit too hard. Okay? The tip doesn't weigh that much. It's very, as you can see, it tapers into a very small, fine point. And that means when you're cutting, there's not a lot of weight on the tip here, not a lot of weight on the cutting edge, which is good because then there's not a lot of weight transferring over to your friend's body, essentially, when you're hitting them. So that means with cuts, it doesn't hurt as much as the other blades do. I find the standard probably hurts the most because it's the heavier one. But anyway, the one few things that some of my students have mentioned in terms of disadvantages or cons about the sword is that, as you can see here, the tang is is reinforced with metal. I assume it's to make it thicker, and for whatever reason, that rattles. Okay. Every time you cut or hit something, it tends to rattle. But that it rattles in sound, but not in feeling. Meaning, it doesn't feel like anything's loose. It doesn't take away from the functionality of the sword or the safetiness of the sword. But it's just a slightly annoying sound. That's it. That's it. That's just, for whatever reason, the design of this sword, it kind of rattles. And I don't know how they're going to fix that or if they will fix that. Is it necessary to be fixed? Probably not. It still works very well. So, it's just, yeah, that's it. That's it. That is my only beef with this sword. Obviously, if you know me as a fencer, I love to bind. So this sword isn't for me per se, but if you're in a fencer that likes to disengage, that is allergic to the bind, this will be fantastic for you. Again, at a cheaper price point, this is probably one of the best swords in that category, in that price point. So definitely a huge recommend from us at HEMA Gear Canada and Terra Nova School of Swords. It definitely passed our test. It's been through some abuse. As you can see, we've used sabers against it, and still standing pretty strong. The clamshell's slightly bent, but nothing we can't fix. Okay. The grip is much better than the old grip, and you're still getting the ball pummel, which is a nice, decent standard pummel. Of course, you can opt out and change all that. It does fit the 1-finger grip, and it does fit a 2-finger grip. A Quillian block would make it perfect, but it is a budget sword, so you're not going to get a Quillian block with budget swords. That's sadly how it is. But definitely I approve and definitely recommend. Thank you for watching our review video on the Castille Economic Rapier. This is Phil Swift from Terra Nova School of Swords and HEMA Gear Canada. Thank you.